where we're going to try and cover a little bit of the basics of accounting in business. A big thank you to the Toba District Chamber of Commerce and Industry, our partners in crime, in rolling out the Spark Stella Awards. I'd like to think you guys know who I am by now, but just in case you've forgotten, I'm Julie McLeod, General Manager of Town Centre Togo and the awards convener. So you should be getting newsletters from me and emails from me so you guys know what's going on. But tonight, it's all about the money. And I'd like to introduce Michelle Barnett of Stratton's, our guest speaker. Michelle.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening and welcome to the Dollars and Cents workshop. I'm going to cover three general areas tonight. What is profit? Or what is a profit and loss statement? Profit is not a naughty word, and skin in the game. Show me the money. What is a profit and loss? The objective when in a business is quite simple. You want to make more money than what you spend. All good business people keep a good eye on their accounts to try and ensure that this is happening. And they usually do this with the tools available to them, such as an accounting system or with the help of their accountant. But first of all, let's take this to a personal setting and work out what your profit or loss is. Now, I want you to do this in your head. I don't expect you to share with your neighbour, but I want you to think of what is your take-home salary or wage that you and your partner receive weekly, fortnightly or monthly. Now, from this, I want you to deduct the essential items, such as your mortgage or your rent payments, your power, phone, food, childcare, and what you're left with is your personal profit. Now, if you're clever and you've got that worked out in your head, you're probably thinking, hang on, I never have that much money left in my bank account. That's probably because I haven't asked you to put in the non-essential expenditure. If you were only to spend your money on the essentials, then what you have left over, you can spend on these non-essentials, or, better yet, you can put into your savings. And now we all have different ideas on what it is that is essential or non-essential. And if you go home and do this exercise and you work out that actually you spend more than what you earn, you probably really need to sit down and consider what is essential and what is non-essential. A business is very similar. They record the sales that they make and then deduct from that the expenses that they incur. And the difference is a profit or a loss. Where they've got a loss, they've spent more than what they've sold. But when we think about profit, we need to know the difference between what a net profit is and a gross profit. As employees, you don't normally get to see everything that comes and goes in a business, but you may get visibility over some of the items. So I have an example here. When I was at university, I had a job back here in Taupo in a retail shop, where I got to unpack the packages and I got to put the price on these items. So with the packages came the packing slip or invoice. And I could see that I could see what it cost the business owner and what we were to sell it for. And the majority of items in this business had a 20% markup. So we purchased items for $16.62 and we sold them for $19.95, which gave us a profit on each of our items for $3.33. And this is the gross profit. Now to come out of that $3.33 needs to be all of the overhead expenses, such as the rent, the power, the cleaning, office supplies, and my wages. Now, $3.33 is not going to get you a shop in town, but as you can see, if we sold enough of these $19.95 products, we were going to make a profit. I never really knew how well the owners were doing in this shop, but they did share with us one day that if we did $1,000 in sales each day, they broke even. So that meant that our sales were going to meet all of these costs. In summer, we exceeded this amount, and some days it was really considerable, especially in the lead up to Christmas. But in winter, especially on a Sunday, we were lucky if we hit $500. Now, because we knew that we had days where we had exceeded our $1,000 target, we knew it was okay to have days where we only hit $500, as the $500 days were far fewer than the $1,000 days. As business owners, it's not a bad thing to share some of this data with your staff. So I'm sure we've got some business owners sitting out there. How many of your staff know what your gross margin is or what sort of percentage you get when they make a sale? Cool. And if you're an employee and you don't have an owner here, how many of you sort of know what sort of margins made on the products that you sell? So as an employee, if you're in the service industry, it can be really common to think that the business owner is creaming it on what they charge you out at, because you know what you're paid at is an hourly rate. So if you're on salary, you can work this out. So say you're on 39,000, you divide that by the 52 weeks in the year, divide it by, say, your 37.5-hour week, and that gives you a $20 an hour rate. But you might be getting paid this $20 an hour, and you can see that you're charged out at $60 an hour. So that's $40 that's being made. Just like my previous example, that $40 is not going straight into the bank of the business owner. That is being used to cover these overhead expenses. Smart business owners track their progress regularly throughout the year. Some have their own accounting systems where they can produce reports, and others rely on their accountant, who may provide them with a report when they do their regular GST return. Really smart owners also have a budget where income and expense targets are set, and they measure the actual results against the budget. This is then reviewed regularly to see how well or poor the business is performing against the expected results. It is no good doing a budget and then not tracking against it to see how well you are doing. As an employee, you want to help the business make a profit so that you can continue to have a job. I'm sure you're all familiar with the offers you get at McDonald's. Would you like fries with that? Or, if you order a combo, you're quite often asked, is that a large combo? When actually all you want is the medium. Staff at McDonald's are taught to try and upsell wherever possible to generate more income. As an employee, it helps to have the knowledge of what has a good margin and a slim margin in your workplace, so that you can try and offer these better margin products to the customer. For example, Apple has a really small margin, but the accessories that go with it have a great margin. So if you have a customer come in that wants to buy an iPad, and you can't convince them to swap to a tablet that's got the better margin, you're going to want to convince them to buy the case that goes with the iPad and the stylus, so that you've got a better profit on that sale. For places that have a fixed margin or a commission, it may be that you want to sell something slightly more expensive to get that margin. It may be that you have a $350 product and a $375 product. You want to explain to your customer why they want that $375 product, because that is going to have more profit. If you're in the service industry, such as hairdressers and that, you want to rebook your customers as they walk out the door so that they come back. I'm a shopper. If I go to the hairdresser and I don't rebook for 6 weeks as I leave, it can be 4 or 5 months and the greys are really showing. But my hairdresser knows, thanks Lisa, that she rebooks me for 6 weeks' time and I'll be back. So now we've got a bit of an activity for you all, and this is where your little bags of money came in. Does anyone not have a bag of money? No. Right. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about the business that you work in and how you can upsell it to the others in the room. That for the purpose of this game, all notes and all coins equal $1. So I know some of you have got $100 notes, and I know some of you have got 20 cent notes. What's going to happen? So what's going to happen is you're going to get up and you're going to talk to people around the room about what it is that you're wanting to upsell them. If you're the person listening to this sales pitch, you need to decide if actually you like what they're telling you, and if you do, hand over $1 or $2. At the end of the time, we're going to come back, you're going to be asked to count your money. For the 2 people that have got the highest amount of money, you're going to come up, you're going to give us your sales pitch, and I've got 2 really cool prizes for you. Nearly? Is anyone else in the vicinity of 100? 91. I've got 3. Okay, well, can the 91 and the 100, could you please come up here? And we'll get you one at a time to introduce yourself, say where you're from, and then we'd like to hear your sales pitch.
So as a sales pitch, there's a couple of ways. You can either target the hard ones or the easy ones, which are the ones you know. So my team invested in their future to work with us for another week in a wonderful place. So we pulled our money together and now we can invest in something more. So as a sales idea, target all your easy customers, not someone you don't know. But the guy I met from Taupo 10 and Skydive that tried to sell me a beer, then he gave it to me and then I sold it back to him. By the way, this is exactly right. It's as a business to see the costs, the profit, the margin, and what it is. If you don't watch it and stick to a budget and know what you're making, it's so hard. So we work very closely with our team and do share the figures to a point. You know, like as business owners, you have to. Some of it's confidential, like how much debt you have to be able to run your business. Because at the end of the day, it's bloody hard to make money. So. So hopefully all the team members and other people's teams do understand that, and your cost as a labour and the things like you said is just absolute key to putting an effort into every day. Some days are major losses, some days are wins. So at the end of the year, our business is a seasonal winter. It's horrible. Now we're steaming in winter, but shit, it's costing us a lot of money to be open. So as soon as the sun comes out again, we'll be good. So. But anyway, thanks to everyone.
I've got pretty much nothing to say. He explained it all. I was selling gorilla soup with free bananas and seemed to do pretty well. So I quit my job and go selling gorilla soups.
Profit is not a naughty word. Profit is a good thing, and you want to be working in a business that is making a profit. If a business continually makes a loss, the chances are your job isn't going to last very long, as the owner is not going to have the ability to pay your wages or the expenses that they have incurred. Unfortunately though, profit does not equal cash in the bank, and there's a number of reasons for this. When looking at the profit and loss statement for a business that also has some bank loans, only the interest portion is shown up in here for tax and business purposes. The principal repayments have to come out of that profit. Oh, sorry, I've lost my place. Principal repayments are not shown, but they need to be paid for out of the profit. Also not included up in the profit and loss are the purchases of assets such as the computers and work vehicles, because these are of a capital nature and you're only allowed a slight deduction for them every year under these silly accounting rules. Another reason why a business is making a profit but has no cash in the bank is because they've made a sale but the customer hasn't paid. Accounting rules require you to record a sale when it is made rather than when you receive the money for that sale. So if you work in retail or tourism, it's quite likely that you do cash sales and you get paid on the day that you offer your service. But there are other businesses out there where they invoice their customers and they don't receive payment until 20th of the following month. These businesses can sometimes look like they're making a great profit, but they're always struggling to pay their bills because they're waiting for that customer to pay them. And sometimes they've got to pay up front for the materials used. Businesses that are making a profit and have cash in the bank are in a good position to invest further into their business. This might mean that they're able to keep up with the latest technology and make your job easier. As well as making a profit so that the owner can keep investing in the business and so that you can keep your job, an owner of a business actually deserves some reward. What you may not realise is that the owner of your business, they've had to have borrowed to get started in business, or they've borrowed to buy those new assets. And in doing so, they've had to secure their family home as the security over those loans. Owners quite often have to give personal guarantees when they buy on credit, especially if they're new into business. And so that means that they are carrying the risk that if they're not successful and they cannot repay their debt, they could lose their house. And owners quite often carrying around that stress of working out how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to pay their wages if the customers are not paying them on time. And as an employee, you're quite often not aware of that. And when I talked about the profit and loss before, as accountants, we quite often see business owners that aren't paying themselves, or they're not paying themselves proper salary or wage. So even though they're making a profit, they've got cash in the bank, they haven't taken a cent out for themselves, and they live on what their partner earns. Where we do see owners taking a salary or wage, sometimes it's not enough. As employees, you're sometimes not aware of what's going on in the background. You see the owner of the business there working in the shop the same hours as Stu, but what you don't see is that when they go home at the end of the day, they have their paperwork strewn across the dining table and they put in many more hours' work. Or it may be that they're up at 2 o'clock last night going down to the shop to let out the stray cat that has set off the alarm. It could be that they're the ones that are there before or after your business hours, meeting a customer so that they can give your customer a great experience and they will come back in the future. So to sum up this section, profit is good. It means that you can get paid and keep your job. A business owner gets rewarded for the risk and effort that they put into the business, and the customers are happy because the business is going to continue to be there for them to visit. So before I go into our last section of today's workshop, I'm now going to show you a video that goes for about 10 minutes. It's got nothing to do with profit, and you may wonder why I'm showing it to you, but I will explain that after.
Your company launches a search for an open position. The applications start rolling in, and the qualified candidates are identified. Now, the choosing begins. Person A, Ivy League, 4.0, flawless resume, great recommendations, all the right stuff. Person B, state school, fair amount of job hopping, and odd jobs like cashier and singing waitress. But remember, both are qualified. So I ask you, who are you going to pick? My colleagues and I created very official terms to describe two distinct categories of candidates. We call A the silver spoon, the one who clearly had advantages and was destined for success. And we call B the scrapper, the one who had to fight against tremendous odds to get to the same point. You just heard a human resources director refer to people as silver spoons and scrappers, which is not exactly politically correct and sounds a bit judgmental. But before my human resources certification gets revoked, let me explain. A resume tells a story. And over the years, I've learned something about people whose experiences read like a patchwork quilt that makes me stop and fully consider them before tossing their resumes away. A series of odd jobs may indicate inconsistency, lack of focus, unpredictability, or it may signal a committed struggle against obstacles. At the very least, the scrapper deserves an interview. To be clear, I don't hold anything against the silver spoon. Getting into and graduating from an elite university take a lot of hard work and sacrifice. But if your whole life has been engineered towards success, how will you handle the tough times? One person I hired felt that because he attended an elite university, there were certain assignments that were beneath him, like temporarily doing manual labor to better understand an operation. Eventually, he quit. But on the flip side, what happens when your whole life is destined for failure and you actually succeed? I want to urge you to interview the scrapper. I know a lot about this because I am a scrapper. Before I was born, my father was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and he couldn't hold a job in spite of his brilliance. I lives were one part cuckoo's nest, one part awakenings, and one part a beautiful mind. I'm the fourth of 5 children raised by a single mother in a rough neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. We never owned a home, a car, a washing machine, and for most of my childhood, we didn't even have a telephone. So I was highly motivated to understand the relationship between business success and scrappers because my life could easily have turned out very differently. As I met successful business people and read profiles of high-powered leaders, I noticed some commonality. Many of them had experienced early hardships, anywhere from poverty, abandonment, death of a parent while young, to learning disabilities, alcoholism, and violence. The conventional thinking has been that trauma leads to distress, and there's been a lot of focus on the resulting dysfunction. But during studies of dysfunction, data revealed an unexpected insight that even the worst circumstances can result in growth and transformation. A remarkable and counterintuitive phenomenon has been discovered, which scientists call post-traumatic growth. In one study designed to measure the effects of adversity on children at risk, among a subset of 698 children who experienced the most severe and extreme conditions, fully 1/3 grew up to lead healthy, successful, and productive lives. In spite of everything and against tremendous odds, they succeeded. 1/3. Take this resume. This guy's parents give him up for adoption. He never finished his college. He job hops quite a bit, goes on a sojourn to India for a year, and to top it off, he has dyslexia. Would you hire this guy? His name is Steve Jobs. In a study of the world's most highly successful entrepreneurs, it turns out a disproportionate number have dyslexia. In the US, 35% of the entrepreneurs studied had dyslexia. What's remarkable, among those entrepreneurs who experience post-traumatic growth, they now view their learning disability as a desirable difficulty, which provided them an advantage because they became better listeners and paid greater attention to detail. They don't think they are who they are in spite of adversity. They know they are who they are because of adversity. They embrace their trauma and hardships as key elements of who they've become and know that without those experiences, they might not have developed the muscle and grit required to become successful. One of my colleagues had his life completely upended as a result of the Chinese Cultural Revolution in 1966. At age 13, his parents were relocated to the countryside. The schools were closed, and he was left alone in Beijing to fend for himself until 16, when he got a job in a clothing factory. But instead of accepting his fate, he made a resolution that he would continue his formal education. 11 years later, when the political landscape changed, he heard about a highly selective university admissions test. He had 3 months to learn the entire curriculum of middle and high school. So, every day, he came home from the factory, took a nap, studied until 4 a.m., went back to work, and repeated this cycle every day for 3 months. He did it. He succeeded. His commitment to his education was unwavering, and he never lost hope. Today, he holds a master's degree, and his daughters each have degrees from Cornell and Harvard. Scrappers are propelled by the belief that the only person you have full control over is yourself. When things don't turn out well, scrappers ask, what can I do differently to create a better result? Scrappers have a sense of purpose that prevents them from giving up on themselves. Kind of like if you've survived poverty, a crazy father, and several muggings, you figure, business challenges? Really? Piece of cake, I got this. And that reminds me, humor. Scrappers know that humor gets you through the tough times and laughter helps you change your perspective. And finally, there are relationships. People who overcome adversity don't do it alone. Somewhere along the way, they find people who bring out the best in them and who are invested in their success. Having someone you can count on, no matter what, is essential to overcoming adversity. I was lucky. In my first job after college, I didn't have a car, so I carpooled across 2 bridges with a woman who was the president's assistant. She watched me work and encouraged me to focus on my future and not dwell on my past. Along the way, I've met many people who've provided me brutally honest feedback, advice, and mentorship. These people don't mind that I once worked as a singing waitress to help pay for college. I'll leave you with one final valuable insight. Companies that are committed to diversity and inclusive practices tend to support scrappers and outperform their peers. According to Diversity Inc., a study of their top 50 companies for diversity outperformed the S&P 500 by 25%. So, back to my original question. Who are you going to bet on? Silver spoon or scrapper? I say, choose the underestimated contender whose secret weapons are passion and purpose. Hire the scrapper.
So why did I show you that video? Well, your boss wants the right people working in their business. A successful business has a great team behind it of its employees and owners, and they all work well together. As mentioned in the video, an employer wants someone who they can trust, is passionate, is motivated, is invested in the success of themselves and the business, and it's really helpful if they have a sense of humour so you can have fun at work. Everyone needs to do their part, including the owner. A business is not going to succeed if an owner isn't interested in it, or a staff member really doesn't want to be there. By a show of hands, put your hand up if you've ever walked into a shop or business and it is really clear that the person working there does not want to be there. What's scared that if you got avoided, you have not been back into that place. Maybe you work for someone who has lost interest in their business. There is no motivation for you as an employee then to do your best for this person because they don't appear to care. And if they don't care, why should you? We all want to have jobs where we hop out of bed in the morning and we're excited to go to work, that work's fun, we like to talk about it. Skin in the game means that we're jointly responsible to see the business prosper. It is great to see when owners share with the employees some of their successes and a few of their concerns. There are obviously things like, Rob, isn't it? You mentioned before that you don't want to share with your employees, but if your sales have exceeded 50%, you want to share that with your team. The team took part in achieving that goal, so sharing it with them makes them feel valued and is going to encourage them to continue to do that good job and exceed your targets. On the flip side, it is also good to share when you didn't meet budget, but you need to do it in a positive way. It may be that you were under budget by 10%. If you have a team meeting, share that with your team and then ask them what ideas they have to exceed these targets next time. The owner doesn't always have the answers, and the perfect idea could be sitting out there with one of the team members. A team that is involved feels valued and is going to help you make your business successful. Thank you.
Michelle, thanks very much to you and Struttons for putting that together for us this evening. There's a few little take-homes for everyone amongst that, little lessons learned. So I've had a number of people asking me about the Service IQ online course. And so everyone should be thinking, yes, I need to do that. And actually a few people have said they've already done it. So that's our next mission for July. So the workshops are finished, but everyone needs to do the online course. Now by everyone, every star performer needs to do it for themselves, and one person from every team needs to complete the course. There's also opportunity for every single person who works for you to do the course. And to tell you all about how it's going to work and a little bit about Service IQ is Andrew Milne. Andrew.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that little piece of information and a little view of stuff from students there in show. But from an industry perspective, coming from Suncourt Hotel, I can certainly tell you that sharing information with your staff, particularly around numbers, can be a real opener for a manager, because you'd be surprised at what your staff think they know and what they don't know, and it can be really, really empowering for individuals. So, take my hat off to those businesses that are doing it. Good on you. Keep doing it, and those that aren't, look at it, because it's a really awesome opportunity. But what I'm here for tonight, I'm now working for Service IQ, so I'm a training advisor, and I've been asked to come along and share with you a little bit about what we do, and then a little bit about the course that we've offered. So, in a nutshell, what we are is we're about engaging with the industry. We work with the service sector, and we work in these sort of 6 areas. So tourism, hospitality, museums, retail, travel and aviation. Aviation is the left field one. It's a hangover from when we merged with a group of ITOs in the past. So Service IQ as a brand has been around for about 3 years now. And the organisation has sort of recognised this region as a region they really wanted to develop. So hence me being appointed to this role. So really I'm pretty fortunate to be able to be based in this fantastic place, but still get to travel around a bit. Now, as far as this product goes, some of you possibly on Tuesday or Wednesday received an email from Service IQ. Yep. Okay. So that was an invite to something along those lines. Would have been sent an email. What you'll need to do is you'll go to the Service IQ Skills Online link, and you'll be given a username and password. Okay. If you haven't received that, can you please let us know? Let Julie know or myself know, and we'll sort that out. Also wanted to chuck in there at this stage too. We are more than happy, because we've sort of offered that initially to the people that have done or doing the. Oh God, help me out there. Start performer. Yeah, and a team. But we're opening it up to everybody. If you'd like your team to be involved, get a taste of it. It will still be of value to you. It is a visitor experience online course, but it doesn't really matter what business you're in. It'll be really good, because we're a tourism town, in essence, so just learning a little bit more about the area. So I encourage you to do it. The course value is $35, so our CEO has been quite generous in putting it out there free of charge. So make the most of the opportunity, okay? But what you're going to do, you'll click on the link and you'll go to a screen like this. Most of us know how to enter usernames and passwords. It seems to be the thing we do these days. Doesn't matter what you do. You'll go on to your, so effectively you've got your own little log on, okay? Everyone has their own. This particular person has actually access to more than one course. You're going to get just one course pop up. And this little bar at the bottom here is a bar of how far you've progressed through the course. So Susie hasn't done this course, okay? So it's still the bar is blank, or I think it goes gold when you've completed it. You can, really important, you can go in and out of this as many times as you like, okay? So you don't have to sit down and do the whole course in one session, all right? So just do it in bite sizes. You'll see screenshots similar to this sort of thing. The program has 69 pages, don't be scared by that. They say that it takes about 90 minutes to do it. I think you can do it a bit quicker than that. It just depends on how much time you have to do it. It just gives you a bit of an idea of what it's about. There'll be graphs, there'll be videos and bits and pieces that go on. All right, bit of stats. You get asked questions. So this is the first part of it. It's about the sort of, if you think about it as materials. And the second part of the reinforcement is whether you've actually, this particular question, all people from the same country share the same values, preferences and expectations. True or false? Exactly. All right. So if you answer that correctly, you'll get this lovely box. It'll come up and say, good job, well done. Okay, so it's all pretty straightforward. It's not an onerous thing. There is some reading obviously to be done, reading the materials, and obviously the requirement is that you need to do. I said to the last group they need to have it done by the end of the month. Then I got pointed out all today as the end of the month, so we'll give you an extension to the end of next month. But look, make the most of the opportunity. It is a generous offer to get out there and do it. But are there any sort of questions about doing that visitor experience online skills course? Yes.
What's the pass-fail sort of thing? Like, how do we know if we passed?
Yeah, good question. For those of you that haven't been to school for a while, back in my day we tended to have people that failed and people that passed. In our world today we work with whether you're competent or not yet competent, and that's where we're at. So you can't fail this, okay? You can try and try again, it's all good. So it'll just point you in the right direction, okay? It's intuitive. It's not about failing this, it's about just making ourselves think about these things, okay? So it's just a little bit of learning. Yeah. Any other questions? Quiet crowd wants to go home. This must be what it is. Yeah. Hey, one last thing. I have an opportunity. If you do want to find out a little bit more about Service IQ, we're actually hosting a business breakfast on the 14th of July at Wairaki Resort. So if those of you are interested in finding a little bit more about it, we've got our CEO coming up from Wellington, Dean Mitchington. He's actually a local, grew up here, went to school locally here. And we've got a couple of guest speakers as well, just for a couple of hours, 7 to 9 in the morning. It's an early start, not for us corporates. But yeah, so if you'd like to go, please just and I'll get you an invite for that. It doesn't cost anything, by the way. So if you want a free breakfast. Alright, there's my sales pitch. You want a free breakfast? All you have to do is give me your business card. Yeah. Alright, have a great evening. Yeah. I'm not taking that money.
How about you, bro?
Yeah, next to it. Awesome.
So I've actually done the course myself as well, and what I like about it is it reinforces some of the messages we've done in the workshops, but there's so much that we could cover about visitor experience that we can't smash into workshops, but it's in this course. There's some things about greetings in different languages. You know what? In Turkle, that's actually really important. Whether you think you're in tourism or not, the truth is that you are. So some of the messages in here are just really nice and subtle, but also really important. So just T's and C's. Every star performer, you need to do the course for yourself. One person from every team needs to do it. Someone asked me in the first one, if I'm the star performer, can I do it? Does that count for my team? Yes, it does. All right. I will be sending out in a newsletter how you go about getting more of your members the login and the password. Okay. You can also grab one of Andrew's business cards on the way out. So a reminder to all your star performers, your application needs to be in by midnight tomorrow. I gave it till midnight instead of 5 o'clock because some people work all day. And if you've worked till 5, you might actually need the evening to finish things off. Also the Innovation Award. So all of you teams out there, we know you do innovative things in customer experience. Put your application in. You've really got nothing to lose. We're not going to post all the people who said they entered and didn't make it, you know, so, and we're not going to share your secrets with everybody else, all right? So if you think you've got a really innovative thing you do in your business, go ahead and put your application in. And that's all done online, stellaawards.co.nz. I am around all day tomorrow, so if you're struggling, give me a ring, I can give you a hand. You can also go straight to 90 Black. They're the ones who are managing it for us. So if you can't get me, ring them. Their staff will be more than happy to help you get your applications uploaded, all right? So as far as workshops, we're done. You got your online course, and we're going to be talking, announcing finalists at the end of July. Teams, mystery shoppers are out there. I don't know who's been mystery shopped and who hasn't, so they could have been to you by now, or they might still be coming. So that's it from me. On your way out, if you don't mind bringing your glassware and putting it in one of the trays, I would greatly appreciate that. Make sure you look at the little sponsors banners. These are the guys who provide the funds that make this thing happen, all right? Thank you all very much.